Miscellaneous minds, never explaining the minds. Devilish grin for my alias, aliens who respond. Peddling sin, thinking maybe when you get old you realize I'm not gonna fold or demise. I don't smoke crack, motherfucker, I sell it.
What is going on, everybody? This is the Mislaid Minds podcast. I'm your co-host, Pooh Gato, the cat that hands you your wife back. And to my left over here is the main man, Sister Nero, the man that makes the fat stacks. Together we form the dynamic duo that won't die. Tell me ideas, brother, and spice your content in your girls' only fans. What is going on, everybody? Before we get into tonight's topic, please make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit. And with that, let's get right into it. So, one of the things that people in my life have always heard me say is, in every argument, there is a grain of truth. Now, it may not be the argument they present to you, but there's always a small grain of truth to the arguments that people make. Doesn't matter what side you come from. Now, let me clarify a little bit, because some people are going to twist the shit out of that to make it fit their purpose. So, for example, let's say somebody says, white supremacy is the best thing in the world, right? I personally don't agree with that as a non-white supremacist, but to them, to that person saying that comment, they personally believe it. So to them, it's the truth. Now, same comment could be made for black supremacists, so on and so forth. Now, why am I saying there's a grain of truth in every argument? Well, it seems a big streamer has taken a major L, and I don't doubt the least bit that a lot of the people that he had discussions with on this very, very, very skewing topic are laughing, more than likely, not just on the inside, but also on the internet. What am I talking about here? So, Destiny, over the weekend, Friday morning, I want to say it was, maybe Thursday night, posted that his soon-to-be former wife, I take it, has chosen to be, and this is a quote, with an abuser. With someone who is not good for someone who is toxic. Don't quote me on the exact verbiage, but basically that's what he said. Now, why did I say that comment about the truth thing a second ago? So he had many conversations with a lot of the Red Pill community. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the Red Pill community. The Sneakos, the Fresh and Fits, dude that looks like old dude with that weird looking cap. He's the dad of that other right-winger who does a lot of political commentary.
Can't remember the name.
Something Tomas. I don't remember his fucking exact name. Red Pillars. I'm sure you guys are aware of all the Red Pillars. Now, I'll be honest with you. I personally have never subscribed to the Red Pill movement, but I will say this. They have on occasion made arguments that I do believe to be true. Just like when Destiny was arguing against them, Destiny made a lot of arguments that were in fact true. But now we arrive at the point where, unfortunately, Destiny's taking an L. Why is this man taking an L, you may ask? Well, a lot of his opposition, we'll call him, a lot of his individuals that he debated with had told him at a certain point, because of the lifestyle you're living, Destiny, your woman is going to leave you for another man. And wouldn't you know it, here we are. Now, I'll be honest with you. I was actually driving. I was on my way home from a business meeting very, very late when my man here texted me saying, hey, look at this real quick. Do some research. I was literally driving on a highway. Busted out the phone real quick search. And I noticed, bam, the comments made by Destiny basically confirming that his current wife, maybe soon to be ex-wife, had decided to be with another individual. Now, I didn't, and again, I was driving, didn't get a whole lot of chance to review. But, via voice text, I told my car to tell my brother, text him, and say, goddamn. Now, here's the issue. I do personally believe that the particular lifestyle that Destiny led put him where he's at. Unfortunately, when you leave your partner open to being romantically involved, whether you think it's just physically or not, with another person, it has led him to this downfall of his that unfortunately Sneakos, the Fresh and Fits, the whatever Tomas, whatever the fuck his name is, all those individuals stated, hey, because of your relationship, it's going to happen. And here we are. Now, I understand that, this could happen to anyone. Fuck, man. If we're being honest, it's happened to me. It's happened to my man here. It's happened to all of us. The thing that gives Destiny a particular L in this scenario is that he argues so vehemently for his side, saying if you treat women blah 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 blah, basically saying it won't happen to me because I treat my woman right, unlike you red pillars that basically dog on women all day, which that point I agree on. With that being said, let's be honest here. Destiny at that time, maybe not anymore, but at that time, taking this high and mighty, I treat women right. I am for women's, rights and live and blah 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 blah. Which again, we've stated upon on here. We're all for. I'm all for equal right. I'm all for all that. But this whole you put them on a pedestal shit, that's kind of where Fresh and Fit were right. That's kind of where the sneakers of the world. I'm not saying belittle them. All I'm saying is don't put them so far above you where they're exalted because they are women and blah 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 blah. It's stupid. It's stupid. We're all human beings. It could happen to all of us. You may also recall on a previous podcast, go back and watch it. We had posted about did we believe that Abba from Abba and Preach, if he had crossed bro code because he had danced on a stream with Melania. And here's the thing. This is the reason why I think, if you go back to that, we said that we did believe he crossed bro code. Not that he did anything inherently wrong, but again, man, you don't want to put yourself in a scenario where questions can be asked. I've seen a video very recently of this guy asking his woman, babe, could you cheat on me? And she's like, of course I could cheat on you. Anybody, you could cheat on me. Anybody could cheat on anybody. And she said, this is the part that I agree with. I'm just not going to put myself in a position where the temptation is there, where the avenue to cheat is there. Because could it happen? Sure. It absolutely could in a moment of weakness, in a moment of anger, in a moment of emotion. I'm sure it could happen. That's the problem. And that's the issue that I have with Destiny's Lifestyle. Now, for those of you that don't know, everyone in my personal life does know, family, friends, so on and so forth. I was previously polyamorous with rules. First of all, I only date women, but the two women that I was dating that both lived with me at the time were dating each other, and we could not date outside the relationship unless we all brought in someone into the relationship. At that point, they could not date. Now, I realized that that leaves yourself open, just like Destiny left himself open, to precarious situations happening. And that's why I feel like I have all the knowledge in the world and I have every right to criticize the way that he lives. Because listen, I have lived the lifestyle, that particular lifestyle. Now, I'm not Destiny. I'm not bisexual. I strictly love women. But with that being said, the women that I was dating, I did put them in a situation where they could develop feelings for others, so on and so forth. So here's the thing. My number one thing is Destiny takes an L in the situation because of the way that he lifts up this movement that he believes to be true. And you can believe for the movement to be true. You can truly believe in women's rights. But it seems anytime that Destiny was arguing, he would never really argue for men. It was always women are right because of this. Now, some people will say maybe it's because of who he was arguing with. He was arguing with the red pill community and basically all they do is downgrade women. Fair enough. But I see him argue and debate with other people that are not red pillars by any means. And they say, look, I understand your argument, Destiny, but let me pose the opposite to you because you're so strong on this argument, and Destiny still went to bat continuously and viciously for that argument. So that's why I personally have a problem with it. Again, I'm pro-women. Women should have all the rights we men have, so on and so forth. What I'm not for is this whole put them on a pedestal, they are goddesses, but that's stupidity. It's outright stupidity. If I'm not a god to women, women ain't goddesses to me, and they shouldn't be to anybody else. What do you think about that, my man?
Listen, man, I've seen time and time again the logistics of open marriages and the whole controversial thing. Let's take Destiny out of the entire situation. Let's take the whole women's liberation, blah 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 blah. Let's take all that logistics out of the window, right? This is how I personally saw open marriages and why logistically, however I saw it, it didn't work. It did not work in any feasible mind. I disagree. Look, and you can call me unbiased. When he was involved in his open marriage, I openly protested it.
Not open marriage. Not an open marriage.
Sorry. Polyamorous. I should clarify that. Polyamorous marriage. I told him logistically, I don't think it could work. He disagreed with me, but look, we were on two ends of the spectrum. He thought it could work. I told him I didn't. And I'll tell you what. I even had. I'm going to tell you a little story about something that happened to a coworker of mine that actually was going through this with her high school boyfriend. Keep in mind, this is a relationship that was going on for 5 years at this time. I saw it from its inception, and I saw it from its eventual end. And this is how I do it. Or this is how I saw the relationship end. These two individuals, I'll say, is Steve and Stephanie, just to make it simple. Now, Stephanie was a coworker of mine that said, look, me and Steven have been in a relationship since high school. We were high school sweethearts. The relationship was just kind of stagnant. I wasn't really able to fully explore my open sexuality with other women. And I brought it up to him, look, I can't be in a fully strictly monogamous relationship with you, but I don't want to leave the relationship either. So this is what I propose we do. I propose an open relationship. You go date who you want, and you go let me date who I want. Now, Steven at first was protesting it. He says, I don't think this is how our relationship would go. I only see you, and I only want to be with you. But unfortunately, if this is the way you wanted to go, okay, fine. I'll hear you out. Let's do this open relationship thing. And she was all psyched about it. She was all psyched about being able to be explore her sexuality, be with other women outside of her relationship, but still at the end of the day, coming home to her man. Now, fast forward a couple months of doing this, I've come later to find out that Stephanie was actually pretty terrified of approaching women, oddly enough, for as enamored as she was with them. And Steven actually got with multiple women during that time. So, the entire experiment, man was able to explore all the women that he was able to, and from her tone of the situation, seemed kind of sour about it because he explored more Kitty than she did, ironically enough. And it was at that point that she realized, okay, this open relationship doesn't work. I want to be strictly monogamous now. Now, I say that because, and this is where my stance is on the entire open relationship. Whether it's polyamorous with rules, whether it's an open marriage, whether it's an open relationship, where you guys don't have any ill will towards each other, logistically, it's not going to work. And the reason why I argue that is because at the end of the day, there's always going to be some resentment towards your other partner for exploring that avenue. Whether you don't agree with their partner, whether it's one person getting more action than the other, there's always going to be some sort of resentment towards that. And in Destiny's case, yes, it does happen to be, okay, I don't agree with your partner. Well, there's going to be resentments towards the other party of saying, well, you can't exactly put rules on who I can or can't date. This is an open relationship after all. So that's why, personally, me seeing this, and I've seen this on 3 different instances, this open relationship or a polyamorous relationship, it doesn't work. Logistically, it doesn't work. That's why I believe a strictly monogamous can work. It's a tight balance. I'm not saying it's a perfect balance, but the temptation to cheat or the temptation for feelings to be all hot and heavy, a little bit more passionate about who really belongs to who in the relationship, or if they belong to a relationship at all, it's going to be all over the place. And it's at that point, the relationship's already shaky at that point. You've already shaken the foundation if there isn't really a true test of who's really loyal in that relationship. Can you really call a relationship where you explore other people, can you truly call that loyal? Again, you may disagree with me or not, and you can have your thoughts in a moment. However, this is how I currently see it. Logistically, it doesn't actually work because there's a bunch of emotions over a logistical issue that both people, they don't feasibly see the circumstances.
Okay, but we aren't here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the Destiny thing. So what do you particularly think about Destiny's situation?
Again, he had problems over the person that his wife, Melania, was personally dating, and that's why I see logistically it didn't work. He set himself up for failure at that point. And look, I understand it. Destiny was rubbing that relationship in the eyes of all those red pillar moves because he was basically saying, see, it could work. It see, like, you guys are completely wrong about this. So unfortunately, he has to kind of eat crow on the whole thing because the thing that he was waving around in their face is saying, see, it can work, now it just blew up in his face, and now all those red pillars are basically going to look at him like a blood in the water for hungry sharks. Now they're going to open them and see, this is what we were telling you this entire time.
You know, when we were discussing this topic, I actually brought up a number of things, which, listen, when I was very young, in my late teenage years to my early 20s, I was very open-minded as far as whoever the fuck people want to date. I don't give a shit. If you want to be gay, be gay. If you want to be bisexual, be bisexual. If you want to be polyamorous, date, whatever. I honestly didn't give a fuck what anyone wanted to do. As long as I could do what I wanted to do, which at that time was fuck every woman possible, I generally didn't care. Now, I did see the folly of my ways in a lot of different things. I'm not necessarily against those relationships. I just think when you involve people in anything, it becomes complicated and people make it a bigger issue on every little thing than it needs to be. With that being said, one of the things that I told my man here is that I do think that when you look at somebody like, I'm not going to use the exact quote because as soon as I use this exact quote, people are going to fucking lose their shit and be like, see. So I'm going to go around it a little bit. When people are in a relationship, they want the passion to stay alive as much as humanly possible. Now, the issue with that is that, listen, after you get to know someone, after you've learned all their interests, you know, you've done the regular relationship on every day, after a little while, the passion begins to die a little. Not that it should, not that it always has to, but it's normal for it the fire to dim a little bit. With that being said, I think some people are much more comfortable, I'll say it, men, doing the same thing over and over and over again. Don't get me wrong, I think a lot of men do want a variety. They want the spice of life. But I think men are much more accustomed to doing the same old. That's why you'll see a lot of memes where, you know, it's the man's apartment and he has like a bed and a TV. That's it. Men are very simple creatures. Whereas women, I think women just want a little bit more passion in their life. So one of the things that I told them in relation to Destiny was, listen, Destiny is a great debater. He likes to argue the issues. He's very passionate about the issues, so on and so forth. But as far as an individual, he doesn't seem passionate. Meaning, after the initial passion of this relationship between him and Melania died down, it seemed like maybe she was looking for a little bit more. Let's say this guy, and this is using Destiny's own words, really is abusive. He really is toxic. There's emotion there. Let's say, listen, I don't advocate for this anyway. Let's say you're an abusive, toxic a-hole. Why do women seem to gravitate towards that? It's because there's passion there. Even if they make you feel some type of way, there's passion involved. You know, there's fights, there's arguments, or this and that. You feel invested because now you're putting something into it. You're investing in it because you're emotionally involved. And I think that's one of the issues that this man made. Think about it. You know, when you know someone back and forth and you know them like the back of your hand, so on and so forth, what is left? And unfortunately, people like this girl, she's still very young, Melania. She's, I think, like 25, 26, something like that. Don't quote me on that. She still wants passion in her life. So after the initial passion of the Destiny was gone and, you know, the thrill of the relationship was gone, I think she's like, hey, you know, I'm allowed to date other guys, so why not date this guy? And it's really easy to fall into the trap of, you know, you go over to the house, you think, I'm just going to smash this person. But then that person's like, hey, just stay and watch a movie with me. You know, we don't have to do nothing. It doesn't have to be romantic. Let's just chill like homies. And maybe you do that and you get comfortable. You do it again and you do it again. Before you know it, you know, you're full on at this person's house, you know, almost every day of the week. So listen, there's a number of issues that went wrong. To me, from what I can see from the outside, the passion is gone. The initial, oh my God, I love this person is gone. And I don't know how long it took it. You know, for some people it takes longer. For some people it dies down after 6, 7, 8 months. For some people it takes 1, 2, 3 years. I don't know. But that's what I can tell. Or that's what I can see. That's what it looks like to me. With that being said, you know, it's one of those scenarios where I do think Destiny set himself up to eventually fail. And again, the reason this man's taking a big ass L is because of how hard he rallied against the other team. It's always been said, keep your words soft and sweet unless you, you know, just in case you gotta eat them. In case you gotta eat your words, keep them soft and sweet. And unfortunately, this man yelled, this man railed, this man, nope, won't happen to me. And which one of us as men isn't guilty of that? And that's why he takes L. He went too hard on his point. He was wrong. And here he is taking that L. With that being said, do you want to add anything else to that, my man?
I think I'm good.
And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you on the next one.